All right, so let's get right into it. So a lot of you guys ask, how do you cure skinny fat? How do you go from skinny to swole? You guys ask this shit, and then I make these videos, and you guys just don't pay attention to them because, yeah. So I'm making this video again. All right, I keep making these videos, and people are like, I don't know what to do to go from skinny to how do I gain weight? I'm gonna tell you this first before we get into anything. Before we get into anything, listen up. You unless you eat past comfort, you're not going to gain muscle. Here's the thing, even if you're main gaining, after like 4 days, you're going to feel like you're binge eating, right? That's how it is when you're putting on muscle. All right, if you're lean bulking or main gaining, which is how you're going to put on muscle, you're going to feel uncomfortable after like day 3 or day 4. Maybe it takes you up till day 10, but you still have to eat in that main gain or at maintenance or in the surplus in order to gain the muscle. People don't understand. They think that you eat more food for 3 days and then you gain weight. That's not how it fucking works. If you want to gain muscle, right? If it's your first year and you want to gain 20 to 25 pounds of muscle in your first year, you're going to have to hit your protein goal every fucking day, 365 days a year, and be at maintenance or in a lean bulk, slightly over maintenance for the entire fucking year, not taking days off. No matter how you feel. Oh, I'm kind of sick. Oh, this that. Nobody fucking cares. All right, results don't care if you feel sick, if you have a headache. No, like they just don't care. You still have to get that shit done. All right. I literally bulked when I was doing 12-hour clinicals, but we had to drive an hour away and an hour back, and you had to somehow make it to the gym, but then I had to somehow go to work. But I made that shit happen because when you want something, you make that shit happen. Now, mindset is number one. Stop giving yourself negative self talk. All right, which is gonna be very hard because when you're skinny, everybody else gives you negative talk, so then it becomes your own thoughts, right? Because that used to happen to me. People are like, "Oh, you're so skinny. What the fuck? Like, dude, you're a joke." Like all that shit, and then I started thinking like, "Damn, I'm a joke. Damn, I'm skinny. Damn, I'm a loser." Like I started thinking that shit too because people kept saying that shit, right? Your confidence is gonna be low, your self-esteem is gonna be low, right? The entire journey of gaining muscle is gonna prove to yourself that you can do what you say you will do, but also it's gonna give you more confidence as well, all right? Because you're gonna put on the muscle that you all wanted to put on, and people are gonna respect you more. Now, in order to build the muscle, mindset-wise, you're gonna have to delay gratification. You're gonna have to be patient and consistent. Because, like I said, yes, you can gain about 20 to 25 pounds of muscle in your first year of lifting, right? First ever time touching weights. Because if you're skinny, you might be like I was at 6'1", 148 when I started. All right. So 20 to 25 pounds of muscle, yeah, that's gonna happen in your first year if you're in a bulk, right? The main thing, like you see this word right here, the main thing is dude, people who try to gain muscle, they're not consistent. Whether it's in the gym with progressive overload and actually showing up, period, or nutrition. Because here's the thing, your weights in the gym go up when you've been consistent for a year. Like you can increase newbie gains. You can increase your flat bench, right? Which I don't program that much because it's not the best for aesthetics. But you can increase your flat bench from 135 max to 270 max in 1 year of consistent lifting. That's so fucking easy. Same thing for deadlift. Your deadlift could go from like 225 to like 455 in 1 year of lifting. Your squat could go from like 155 to 315 in 1 year of consistent lifting. But the issue is nobody's consistent. Think about if you were consistent for 4 to 5 days a week for 52 weeks. People don't do that shit. The amount of progress you'll make is like literally insane. All right. So people always think, oh, I got to take steroids or I got to do this. Dude, you just got to be consistent. All right. Yo, the easiest example is leg press and incline bench. Your leg press could go from putting 2 plates on each side to just filling out the entire thing in 1 year. That's what we used to do. We used to back when gym culture was good. We used to get some chicks to like sit on it too, and then we used to do leg press because it was like the weights weren't enough. Versus the beginning of the year, 2 plates was like, yo, we're gonna stop here. You know what I mean? That's progressive overload. It's not that like progressive overload is assumed. Like I always say, I don't like when people say you have to progressive overload. Obviously, like what the fuck else would you do? What else would you do? You've been lifting, the weight's too light. Obviously, you add weight. It's basic. Like I can't believe people need to hear that. Like obviously, right? But the issue is people aren't consistent. So like that concept is like, oh wow, I have to go up in weight because a lot of people go to the gym. I see a lot of skinny dudes because they used to ask me questions all the time. If they're lifting 135, that's cool. I don't care where you start. 2 years later, they're lifting 135. I'm like, okay, why are you still benching 135? Oh, maybe they've only been doing legs, right? And then on, legs, they're still doing 95 pounds on squats. I'm like, okay, they're just not consistent. All right, self belief is important, but over time, you'll gain self confidence to increase your self belief. Now, muscle building nutrition. It's very simple, man. Most people are going to start around 3,000 or 2,800 to 2,900 ish. These are just small examples, simple examples of what you could eat. This was like my old meal plan I used to use to bulk. Like for I have another meal plan in the bio if you're trying to get lean. I know a lot of you guys watching this are trying to get lean locked in. You could also use it to bulk. You just have to change the portion sizes. But action is very important because the thing is, the chicken and rice shit actually works if you just do it over and over again. You just want to hit high protein, and one thing you don't want to do is dirty bulk, eat 4,000 calories. It's just not fucking necessary. If you're 5'10" and 155, you don't need, you know, 4,000 calories. Now, 2,800 to 3,000 will probably be enough, especially if you're working out 5 times a day. You're getting at least 5K steps just through natural things. You know what I mean? And you're eating high protein. All right, that's how you gain muscle. All right, because yes, if you do 4,000 calories, you'll gain more weight. Congratulations, it's gonna be fat. And then it's gonna make your cut harder. Then you're gonna have to stop your bulk earlier. If you gain too much fat, you're gonna have to stop your bulk early because then you're gonna have medical issues like fucking insulin resistance, and then you're gonna be gaining more fat, and you're not gonna be putting on as much muscle as you can, right? So then you're gonna have to stop your bulk early. Whereas if you want to do like 12 months straight of main gaining slash gaining muscle, if you eat at maintenance, it'll be way easier. All right. Now, finding the right amount of calories for you. I was about 6'1", 147 to 150 was where I ranged from. I use a calorie calculator. It's very fucking simple. Then they're like, bro, you need like 2,900 calories to gain weight. I was like, holy shit, that's a lot. So I just, I stayed there. And then once I got to like, I think I stopped at 165, and then went to like, added 300 calories, paused at 180, and then had to gain more calories. So, I mean, had to add more calories. So it's that simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't say, wait, what if or what? Listen to what the fuck I said and follow directions. It's not that deep. All right. Now, the truth about building muscle. All right. Muscle building and gaining weight are not the fucking same thing. They're not. So you gain if you only gain 2 pounds in a month, that's good. Because what did I say? 20. You're gonna gain around 20 pounds of muscle in your first ever year of lifting. All right. So that 20 to 25 pounds. So that comes around to 1.5 to 2 pounds per month. All right. It's that simple. And I'm talking about your first year lifting. That's why the people on Body Game that are on live, shout out to y'all, and the people on Body Game that like actually like comment on the post and shit like that. That's why they be saying like, yo, I look way different. I got way stronger because they were consistent for 1 year straight. That is you're going to make a lot of progress in your first year if you're consistent. It just is what it is. It's magic. It's called newbie gains, bro. You've never lifted before. You're going to be packing on a lot of muscle in your first year. It's it's like people are going to think you're on steroids because you're more consistent than 99% of the population. That's what it really is. Nobody does this shit. All right, nobody spends 1 year and locks in. Like no one does that shit. That's why when you do it, people look at you like he had to take steroids because they can't believe you did something they can't. You spend 1 year gaining 1.5 to 2 pounds. After the first 2 months, it's like, oh, I only gained 4 pounds. After 3 months, it's like, oh, I only gained 6 pounds. After 1 year, it's like, damn, I put on 20, maybe 24 pounds. You feel me? And then there's some water weight. So you put on 30 pounds overall, and you might have been 150. Now you're 180 lean. And people are like, what the fuck? You see what I'm saying? That's what can happen. Put the work in, man. Like I said, this is how it works. First 6 to 12 months, you're gonna gain 20 25 pounds as a natural, right? Is that simple? So it always does surprise me when people are like, "Yo, man, I've been putting in the work, but this is that." It's like, bro, no, you haven't. All right, because after 1 year, you're after 1 year of main gaining or lean bulking, you're gonna see so much progress. If you lean bulk for 3 years, I mean, you're gonna gain majority of your muscle mass that you're gonna have in your like lifting career, right? 3 years of lean bulking, best case scenario, you gain about 45 pounds of muscle. Worst case scenario, 35. So you should be between 35 and 45 pounds of muscle. If you do what you need to do for 3 years, that's how much you're going to gain. That's insane. Plus water weight and, a little bit of fat. But the little bit of fat you gain, since the proportion of muscle is way more, your body fat percentage will go down anyways. So you can literally put on 50 pounds overall in 3 years, and, 40 of that could be muscle. Like that's insane. That's literally insane. So you start at 150, now you're 200. All right. Push pull legs is what I use. Like I said in the other video, you could use any split as long as you're consistent with it. That's the most important thing, being consistent with the split, and not switching it every day. You don't want to switch from CrossFit to powerlifting to Pilates all in the same week. All right. Compound movements are going to help you build a good foundation. All right. Now, if you think compound movements are too taxing, then just put put one of them in your workout, and then do like isolation and machine movements as well. And focus on mind muscle connection and quality reps, quality over quantity, of course. Progressive overload, like I said earlier, this shit is fucking assumed. Like I said, if someone is programming flat bench and they've been programming it for 3 years and they can't lift 225. They're just not eating enough protein. It's not that deep. You should be, if you've been programming flat bench for 3 years, you should be benching at least 225. It's just lightweight after, after year two, it's way too light. Honestly, after 6 months, it's too light, but, let's be nice here, right? Same thing for squats. You should be repping 315 if you're programming it. Same thing for deadlifts. If you're programming deadlifts after 3 years, you should at least be doing 405, right? But that's only if you're programming these things. And the same thing if you're programming incline dumbbell and you're going for about 10 reps, then yeah, you should be around 80s to 90s. That's fine for 10 reps, but 6 reps you should be over 100. Like if you're consistent, you know what I mean. That's why when you go to the gym and you lift certain weights, people respect you because they know you're consistent. It's not strength, bro. There's a difference between strength and consistency, and strength and consistency really go hand in hand because strength is really when you just practice good form consistently. Guess what you have to do? You have to add more weight. You just have to. All right. So like it's crazy to me. Usually, if people ask you how to get stronger, it just means they're not consistent. That's it. So when they see that you're stronger, they know that you're consistent. That's why they respect it. All right. And this is what I pretty much talked about this whole time. The biggest issue, all right, so I would say for fat people trying to get lean, the biggest issue is like mindset and just like delaying gratification, but also like just a bunch of barriers. For skinny people trying to put on muscle, it's really just consistency. Like they give up way too quickly. They're like, oh man, I didn't gain enough muscle in a week. It's like I said, the compound effect is real, specifically when you're gaining muscle. Yes, you're only going to gain maybe 3 to 5 pounds in the first 2 months, but after 1 year, 20, just imagine gaining 30 pounds overall and 20 of its muscle. You will not look the same. You're going to look like a different motherfucker. You're going to get respect. All right. It's going to be different. Now, how your life will change. Like I said, when you're skinny, no respect. Your confidence is lower. You don't put on muscle. You don't fill out shirts. You know what I mean? Obviously, you're not going to get choosing signals from chicks. Dudes aren't going to respect you. Dudes aren't going to ask you questions. Now, when you put on that muscle, chicks going to be looking at you like this. You feel me? People are going to come up to you, ask you for advice. You're going to get taken more seriously at work. The chicks at work are going to try to make you the work husband. All that shit's going to happen. It just is what it is. The only reason, like I said, the only reason you get more respect when you are on body game or you put on muscle is because it's not something most people do because most people can't take it there. You know what I mean? So when I see people in the comments like, oh, like it's not all about that, it's like they're saying that because they're not in shape because they don't have the mental fortitude, which most people don't. So that makes them most people. You see what I'm saying? So they get like mad at that. But yeah, you're just gonna separate yourself. Like I said, 1 year of consistency. I don't know people who I really don't know a lot of people who are consistent for a year when it comes to fitness. That shit's rare as shit. Like it's very rare, dude. A year of consistency, this shit will change your life, man. Shit will change your life. Links in the description for programs, man. Y'all stay locked in, man. Y'all stay blessed.